Assalamualaikum and welcome back to another episode of Tort Law in Action on TV3, a series where we go beyond the books to see how your favorite legal principles play out in the ever-evolving landscape of the Malaysian legal system. I'm your host, Harith, and for today's episode, we'll be delving into the complex world of celebrity defamation. For today's episode, we're joined by a panel of esteemed guests, including up-and-coming journalists from the Star newspaper, Ms. Sabiha.
Thank you, Harith. It's an honor to join you all today. Hi, my name is Sabiha binti Nuruddin.
Next, let's give a warm welcome to one of our show's veteran guests, Ms. Alyaa Asmida, who's had over 15 years of experience as an advocate and solicitor of the High Court of Malaya.
It's a pleasure to be back, Harith. Thank you for having me.
Last but not least, I'd also like to introduce Professor Hakimin from the Ahmad Ibrahim Kuliah of Laws in IIUM, also known as one of Malaysia's renowned experts on defamation in the local legal field.
Assalamualaikum everyone, it's lovely to meet all of you.
Before we jump right into the meat of today's topic, let me first begin by providing a little bit of a refresher on defamation in case it's been a while since some of our viewers have attended a law lecture. As defined by Winfield, defamation refers to the publication of a statement which reflects on a person's reputation and tends to lower him in the estimation of right-thinking members of society. Therefore, the law of defamation generally serves to provide legal protection towards an individual's reputation, which is often deemed as a priceless asset given the amount of time and energy spent on developing it. English common law and Malaysian statutes such as the Defamation Act 1957 have thus categorized defamation in two forms, the first of which being libel. This form of defamation concerns statements contained in permanent forms, such as through caricatures or through pictures, and are ultimately actionable per se. Whereas in contrast, defamation may also manifest in the form of slander, whereby it refers to defamatory statements that are spoken or more often not recorded, which do require proof of special damage, subject to certain exceptions.
Yes, that was a very thorough introduction, Harith. But if I may add, in order to truly succeed in the claim of defamation, the plaintiff must first prove a number of essential elements, such as, first, the words must be defamatory. Second, it must be referred to the plaintiff. And third, it must be published.
Thank you for your valuable input, Prof, which brings me directly to my next point. As you all know, celebrities such as Dato' Siti Nurhaliza and Aaron Aziz spend a lot of their time in the limelight. And although such lifestyle may seem nothing but fabulous in theory, the reality of the situation often results in these celebrities receiving plenty of criticism and negativity, especially with the rise of social media platforms and online news outlets. As a result, it's not uncommon to hear stories or read newspaper excerpts on celebrities seeking legal remedy against defamatory statements made against them. Therefore, I'd like to direct this first question to Ms. Sabiha, whereby as someone who is directly involved in the madness of the media, could you please enlighten us with some recent examples from newspapers of celebrities seeking justice against defamation?
Sure thing, Harith. From the top of my head, I can recall a recent article titled Nora Saman Fitna by a colleague of mine in Harian Metro, which detailed the defamatory suit filed by the actress Nora Danish against Fasha Sanda and her blogger. For an article which stated that the former disliked the idea of Fasha Sanda attending a phenomenal defamatory event organized by Syarikat Glasgow Media. And by that, Nora Danish sought damages amounting to 20 million ringgit Malaysia on the ground that the false statement had brought harm to her dignity, family and business. But the suit was ultimately settled amicably and withdrawn upon Fasha Sanda when she submitting her apologies toward the Shah Alam High Court before Judge M. Gunalan and promised that she won't repeat the same mistake in the future.
It truly seems that the stakes are high when it comes to celebrity defamation suits, given the reputation and influence of these celebrities within the general public.
Oh, I definitely agree on that. Another article I would like to highlight is actress Maria Farida was awarded Rm 400,000 ringgit for defamation, which written by Defamation Today back in 2018. It highlighted the case of Datin Sri Maria Farida, who had filed a defamation suit against Kari Rahman and her daughter Shazlin for allegedly making defamatory statements against her on their official Instagram account and Facebook account, which ultimately wound up and being published in Berita Harian. As a result of this statement, Datin Sri Maria claimed that her reputation as an actress and also as a model had been tainted along with having received slanderous message by the defendant, and her picture was used without her consent. And in the end, the court ordered the defendant to pay damages amounting to 90,000 ringgit Malaysia, among other costs that total up to 400,000 ringgit Malaysia.
I think that the examples that Ms. Sabiha has provided a clear illustration towards how difficult it is for celebrities to maintain and protect their reputation in the public eye, especially when it involves claims of defamation. As such, based on these newspaper excerpts, a problem I'd like to propose for the consideration of the panel and all the viewers at home is in regard to preserving celebrity reputation and dignity in the media. That is to question, is anyone truly safe in the spotlight? To shed more light on this problem, I'd love to invite Ms. Alyaa to share some of her professional experience in dealing with cases of celebrity defamation. I'm sure her career as an advocate and solicitor will help contextualize the legal perspective and illustrate the position of the Malaysian courts on this issue.
Thank you, Harith. In my experience, there's a number of cases that will show you that successfully winning a defamation suit as a celebrity is no easy task. A prime example would be the case of Safura binti Yaakob and Saripah binti Mustafa, whereby the plaintiff, who is a Malaysian singer, had sought damages for defamation against the defendant for making alleged defamatory statements that were published in 2 articles of a magazine. The plaintiff claimed that the statements made by the defendant carried the natural and ordinary meaning, whereby the latter had stated, inter alia, that the former was an immoral, bad-tempered and evil woman who envied the latter's popularity. Furthermore, it was stated that the plaintiff had conspired with a shaman to murder the defendant through use of black magic, which had caused her to incur pain and suffering for half a month.
Interesting. And what was the decision and judgment provided by the court?
Overall, the court held that the evidence of the statements written in both articles, the first article and the second article, was merely hearsay, and that the plaintiff had failed to prove her claim of defamation on the balance of probabilities against the defendant, thus dismissing her claim with cause. In providing the judgment, the court opined that the words published in both articles were the result of the reporter's journalistic skills after the defendant had testified that the statements published were completely different from what she had said initially, and that the plaintiff herself had no knowledge of what was mentioned in the interview. Additionally, the court also derived the view that the statements made in the article did not in any way refer to the plaintiff. This was based on the fact that her name was not mentioned directly, nor was anything explicitly mentioned about her, aside from a sentence that stated the artist was popular and had just gotten married. The plaintiff, however, failed to prove that the statement referred to her or that she was the only popular artist who had just gotten married at that time. Thus, the court viewed that the plaintiff's claim was merely an assumption whose validity cannot be verified.
Based on the outcome of this case, would it be safe to say that Malaysian courts have been rather strict in allowing defamation suits, especially when it involves public figures such as celebrities?
Certainly. I personally think that the cautious approach taken by Malaysian courts is appropriate and necessary given the volatile nature of public opinion towards these celebrities. A clear example of this would be the case of Muhammad Azwan bin Haji Ali and System Television Malaysia Berhad and others, whereby the plaintiff had brought an action against the producers of a program named Melody. The plaintiff argued that the word menangis in the statement made "Kau ni nak jadi macam Azwan Ali lah, menangis sebab Janazin kahwin," as uttered by one of the defendants, had given the impression that the plaintiff had become hysterical or melalak upon hearing the news of the state marriage, and thus caused him embarrassment and humiliation in the public eye. Ultimately, the court held that the statements were not defamatory and the plaintiff's claim was dismissed. In providing the judgment, the court opined that the statements were not defamatory when looked upon its natural and ordinary meaning, nor did they carry any secondary meaning or innuendo, as it was spoken in jest and not meant as an attack upon the moral character of the plaintiff. Additionally, the court expressed the view that public personalities must accept the buffet and blows that come with fame and should be ready to accept public comment or criticism either in the press or on television.
That is certainly an interesting view you've raised, Miss Alyaa, and I believe we can expand on that further. Before that, however, I would like to ask Professor Hakimin to share his views on the current state of this problem based on academic perspectives.
Well, when addressing the problem of preserving the reputations of celebrities, I think it's really important for us to actually look into the role of social media within our society and also the complex relationship it holds with the law of defamation in Malaysia. Recently, I came across an article entitled Media and the Libel Law, The Malaysian Experience by Ahmad Masum and Muhammad Rajab. So the article provided an in-depth overview of the application of defamation in Malaysia. And it also highlighted, most importantly, they highlighted how much powerful the role that the media holds in conveying and also disseminating messages and information within our society, and how they remain susceptible to the blurry lines, I would say, to the increasing blurry lines between public and also personal interests. So that's when the statutes come in. That's when the statutes play their part, which is to regulate the operation of the media in our country. For example, we have the Defamation Act 1957. So it plays a role. It strives to protect both private and also personal entities from getting the damage from irresponsible media and also journalism.
So, Professor, based on this article you've mentioned, does that mean governments are willing to sacrifice press freedom in favor of securing the rights to protect one's dignity and reputation?
It's quite the contrary, actually, because in the article, it was also argued by the authors that not all publication resulting in ridicule by right-minded members of the society would amount to defamation. In fact, they also highlighted certain defenses available to the media. For example, we have the absolute defense of truth, or also known as justification. Alongside that, we have fair comment, which I think is really relevant as it should be the best interest of the society for the media to be able and permitted to comment on matters of public interest. Alternately, they also emphasize that the media should also practice self-regulation in order to be a socially responsible means of communication, which I totally agree. And I think it's really crucial for them to observe responsible journalism and good social etiquette when we're discussing this problem at hand.
We appreciate your thoughtful input on this matter, Prof. Now, as an overall analysis on everything that has been brought to the table today, I'd like to circle back to our main problem and hear all of your views on what is the best approach in protecting the rights and reputations of our celebrities.
As I've mentioned before, I personally believe that defamatory suits involving public figures such as celebrities must be treated with precaution. The news excerpt explained by Ms. Sabiha illustrates the common understanding that being exposed to criticism and negative commentary is a part and parcel of life as a celebrity. Therefore, the courts possess a duty to be meticulous in forming a decision as to prevent a flood of claims from arising, otherwise known as indeterminate liability of an indeterminate amount to an indeterminate class.
Well, I generally agree with Ms. Alyaa. I think it's also important to note just how crucial a celebrity's reputation is towards her career and also social standing. Given the fact that they are always placed under the microscope of the public, one false allegation could result in severe damage towards their livelihoods and also self-esteem. As such, the law must accommodate by reviewing existing legislation and also precedent to ensure these celebrities aren't entirely left at the mercy of strict regulation and legal principles, like as clearly shown in the outcomes of the two cases discussed by Ms. Alyaa earlier.
I also like to reaffirm the article highlighted by Prof. Hakimin, whereby I firmly believe that there must be a greater emphasis on ethical and responsible journalism and healthy social etiquette. Journalists should strive to deliver information that is accurate and trustworthy in order to maintain their media credibility, while online users should be mindful of what they say about others on public platforms to avoid unnecessary litigation. Overall, we all have a legal and social responsibility to remain honest regardless of the circumstances. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you all for your insightful opinions. I think we can all agree that there is no single solution for this complex problem, especially when it involves various public stakeholders such as celebrities and the media. All in all, I believe that the combined effort of legislators, community leaders, and the average individual is necessary towards creating a safer and lawful environment for public figures such as celebrities. Conclusively speaking, change must be made to ensure that the rights and reputations of these individuals are preserved and maintained as promised by the law. With that, I thank you all for joining me on today's episode of Tort Law in Action. And for the viewers at home, I hope you've learned a little bit more about celebrity defamation. From all of us here at TV3, stay safe and see you next time. Assalamualaikum.